Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Dr. Mangesh Deshin, working as assistant professor in MEP Samaj, Nashik. Friends, in last video we have seen that filtration of precipitate. In this video we will learn about washing, drying and ignition of the precipitate. In last video we have seen that filtration of the precipitate, that is filtering and washing of the precipitate. So filtration is very important process in case of gravimetric analysis. The process of separation of the precipitate from the mother liquor by using some porous medium is known as filtration. So separation of the precipitate from the mother liquid, that is liquid, that is called as filtration. So in that case we used some media, that is porous materials like filter paper, filter pulp and filtering crucible. Friends, in this video we will learn about washing of precipitate. Generally the precipitate is washed with water or specified wash liquid. The purpose of the washing of the precipitate is to remove the impurities on the surface of precipitate by using wash liquids. Friends, for washing the precipitate, we should be very careful because while washing the precipitate, that precipitate may goes again into the colloidal form, may be dissolved into the washing liquid. Then it may be there may be the possibility of peptization. So we should be careful about washing this precipitate. If we use a water as a solvent for the washing the liquid, then the possibility of peptization, that is coagulated precipitate, is again forms a colloidal solution. That possibility will be increased. That's why we should be very careful while choosing the wash liquids. The choice of wash liquids depends upon the solubility of that precipitate as well as chemical properties of that precipitate and the tendency of the precipitate to undergo peptization, the number of impurities to be removed and the influence of the traces of wash liquid upon the subsequent treatment of the precipitate before weighing. Friends, for that purpose mostly people are using ammonium salts or ammonia solution or dilute acid solution as a wash liquid. Friends, the choice of wash liquid depends upon the three classes. First one is the solution which prevents the precipitate from becoming colloidal and passing through the filter paper. So we should avoid the such wash liquids that causes the precipitate becomes again into colloidal form and that get passed through the filter paper. So that precipitate will not stop on the filter paper. That is colloidal, small particle will form and that pass through the filter paper. So most probably the gelatinous, that is flocculated as well as curdy white precipitates generally show this tendency to become a colloidal solution. Such precipitates are washed by the solution containing an electrolyte which is most frequently salt. For example, gelatinous precipitate of hydrous oxide of the ferric iron or aluminium, that is group 3A, like iron hydroxide precipitate or aluminum hydroxide precipitate. That precipitate should be washed with ammonium nitrate solution, or some curdy white precipitate like silver chloride should be washed with nitric acid solution. The second class is solution which reduce the solubility of the precipitate. So we should use such a solution which reduces the solubility of the precipitate. So in that case we can use a common ion effect. So the solution should contain some common ion of the precipitate. The ions which are present into the precipitate, that those ions should be present into the washing solution also. So that reduces the solubility of the product, that suppress the solubility of the precipitate. So those solution can be a good wash liquids for washing the precipitate. Third is the solution which prevents hydrolysis of the salt, that is weak acids or weak bases. So in some cases, whatever the wash liquids, if you use those wash liquids, hydrolyzes our precipitate. So we should avoid this type of wash liquids. For example, suppose we have a precipitate of ferric chloride, and if we use water as a wash liquid, then it forms hydrous oxides of the ferric ion. So it composition will get changed. That hydrolysis of the FeCl3 causes and HCl comes as a byproduct. So we want FeCl3 as a precipitate, but while washing, that precipitate is converted into a hydrous oxide of the iron. So we should avoid such wash liquids. Second possibility is that if we are washing magnesium ammonium phosphate salt by the water, then there will be the hydrolysis may possible, and that salt may dissolve into the water solution by formation of Mg2 plus ion and ammonium phosphate ion. Thus ammonium phosphate again decomposed into ammonia and hydrophosphate ion. Ammonia reacts with water to give ammonium ion as well as hydroxide ion. So if you want to wash this magnesium ammonium phosphate precipitate, then we should use ammonia as a solvent, or ammonia as a solvent, as a wash liquid. So this equilibrium shifts in a reverse fashion, and the hydrolysis of magnesium ammonium phosphate will be prevented. If you wash with the water, that gives hydrophosphate ions and hydroxide ions. To prevent this hydrophosphate ion as well as hydroxide ions, we should wash this magnesium ammonium phosphate salt with a solution containing ammonia. So these are the three classes of choice of wash liquids. Friends, washing of the precipitate. Uh, so what are the how to wash the precipitate? What is the technique to wash the precipitate? Friends, the concentration of impurity after a n number of washing can be calculated by using a formula, that is xn is equal to x0 in bracket u upon u plus v bracket close, n is the power. So in this case, xn is the concentration of impurity after n washing, means number of washings. X0 is the concentration of impurity before washing. U is the volume in ml of the liquid remaining in the precipitate after draining. V is the volume in ml of the solution used in each washing, and N is the number of washing. Friends, if a minimum quantity of wash solution is used to remove impurity, solubility losses are reduced. It is observed that washing is more effective when carried out by many number of small portions of wash liquid than by a few large portions, the total volume being same in both the cases. Friends, in this case, or in case of washing the precipitate, we have to use a number of washings with the small quantity of the wash liquids than uh, using the more number of volume or more volume of the wash liquids at minimum time. म्हणजे काय करायचं, आपल्याला ज्यावेळेस वॉश करतो आपण प्रेसिपिटेट, तेव्हा थोडे थोडे वॉश लिक्विड्स मेनी टाइम्स म्हणजे खूप वेळा वॉश करायचं. दॅट विल बी व्हेरी बेनिफिशियल दॅन using a large amount of solvent and only 1 or 2 times of washing. तुम्हाला नंबर ऑफ वॉशिंग्स वाढवायचे आहेत आणि अमाऊंट ऑफ वॉश लिक्विड शुड बी लेस. The ideal wash liquid should satisfy following conditions. First, it should not dissolve the precipitate but dissolves the impurity. Wash liquids should not dissolve the precipitate because we want to wash the precipitate, but it dissolves the impurity. It should have no dispersive action on the precipitate, that is peptidation. So there should be no action on the precipitate. Peptidation means whatever the precipitate is again converted into the colloidal form. Means the precipitate forms smaller particles. Those particles may be transferred through the filter paper also. So we won't get the precipitate after washing the precipitate by this solution. It should not form any volatile or insoluble product with the precipitate. Whatever the wash liquid should not form a volatile. Volatile means low boiling point compounds. So they forms vapors in early, at room temperature also. So it should not happen, so that our precipitate remains intact. As well as whatever the wash liquid, it should not react with the precipitate to form a insoluble product. Insoluble product, that will be the impurity with the precipitate. So it should not form any volatile or insoluble product with the precipitate. It should be easily volatile at the temperature of drying the precipitate. Whatever the wash liquid is there, its boiling point, it should be very less, so that it can be volatile at the temperature of drying the precipitate. So that liquid will not be interfere in the weighing of the precipitate. ते लिक्विड पूर्णपणे त्या प्रेसिपिटेट मधून निघून गेले पाहिजे. त्यातच जर थांबलं, तुम्हाला ज्यावेळेस वेट घेतो आपण प्रेसिपिटेट मधचा, तर प्रेसिपिटेट आणि लिक्विडचं वेट पण त्याच्यामध्ये येईल. It should not contain any substance which may interfere with the subsequent determination in the filtration. So whatever the wash liquid, it should be very pure. There should not be any impurity, so that whatever the impurity present into the wash liquid, that should not interfere with the subsequent determination in the filtration. वॉश लिक्विडमध्येच काहीतरी इम्प्युरिटी नको आहे, की जे करून वॉश लिक्विड तर चांगलं असेल आपलं, पण त्यातली जी इम्प्युरिटी असेल ती आपल्या प्रेसिपिटेटला खराब करेल किंवा आपल्या कॅल्क्युलेशनमध्ये काहीतरी प्रॉब्लेम्स देतील, कॅल्क्युलेशन चुकवतील. त्यासाठी वॉश लिक्विड मस्ट बी प्युअर फॉर्म. Now we will see drying and ignition of the precipitate. So after filtration and after washing the precipitate, two steps are there: drying or ignition of the precipitate. So the purpose of the drying and ignition is that our substance, our precipitate, is wet while filtration or while washing, that becomes wet. Even our precipitate contains many types of water, like crystallization water, dissolved water, occlusion water, as well as absorbed water, that is called as hygroscopic substances are there. Then we should remove this water. We have to remove this water. So there are two steps or two processes: drying the precipitate or ignite the precipitate. So precipitates are dried for accurate stable mass measurement, and the precipitates are also ignited to convert into its given chemical form, molecular formula. So these are the two processes, two different processes: drying and ignition. Drying means the precipitate is heated at below temperature, below 250 degrees Celsius temperature. So up to 250 degrees Celsius, that process, that removal of the water from the precipitate, that process is called as drying. While the second process is called as ignition. Ignition means the precipitate is heated in between the temperature 250 degrees Celsius to 1200 degrees Celsius. So in ignition type of drying, the precipitate is heated above 250 degrees Celsius, while in drying, the precipitate is heated below 250 degrees Celsius temperature. This drying and ignition processes depends upon the nature of precipitate, and that differs from the precipitate to precipitate. So that depends upon the different types of the precipitate. That depends upon what is the stability of that precipitate, what is the type of water present into that precipitate, what type of impurities are present, what are type of molecular formula we required up into the precipitate. Depends upon that, the drying and ignition techniques are different for the different precipitates. So drying, that is called as incineration, that is two types. Most probably there are two types. First one is incineration of the filter paper with precipitate. So we have to incinerate whatever the filter paper is there with precipitate. So the filter paper convert into the ash with less weight. So in that case, our filter paper with precipitate is taken into the porcelain crucible, or maybe in silica crucible. Porcelain crucibles are cheap, these are easily available, while silica crucibles are costly, but thermal shock resistance is high for the silica crucible. That's why most probably the silica crucibles can be easily used for the uh, gravimetric analysis. These silica crucibles or crucible uh, should be washed very clean and dry. Then the silica, whatever the silica or porcelain crucible, should be heated at the temperature by clipping on this clay triangle and tripod stand, by heating the gas, so that whatever the incineration temperature, whatever the probable incineration temperature is there, up to that temperature we have to heat this silica crucible and lead simultaneously. While heating this lead and crucible, that should be some tilted form, that is inclined form, so that whatever the moisture is present into that one, that also goes away into the air. Then this silica crucible and lead should be cooled and dried in a desiccator. After that, the crucible is heated with the filter paper and precipitate on the low flame for some time. The filter paper loses moisture and slowly charges. It is not allowed to catch fire because in such case some particles of the precipitate might be lost along with the gaseous product of the combustion. After the charring of the filter paper is complete, the flame is increased. The crucible is heated for about 20 to 30 minutes. When all filter paper is burned off and all the carbon sticking to the side of the crucible is removed by spatula, the crucible is kept uh, erect. Then it is covered with the lid, strongly heated. When ignition is over, the crucible and lid are cooled for the 5 minutes and kept into the desiccator. Crucible and lid are then wet. The ignition operation is repeated to get constant weight. So this process repeat and repeat up to the constant weight is to be appear. The second incineration type is incineration of the filter paper apart from the precipitate. So that filter paper is incinerated without it precipitate. For this purpose, the procedure used for those precipitate which are reduced in burning paper, while burning the filter paper, while burning the filter paper, whatever the precipitate is there, for example, a barium sulfate, lead sulfate, or cuprous oxide, so this may get reduced in a metallic form. In that case, the incineration of the filter paper can be done apart from the precipitate. So in this case, whatever the filter paper funnel along the filter paper containing the precipitate is kept in the drying in oven about 100 to 105 degrees Celsius for suitable time. A watch glass is kept on a glazed paper, plain paper. The residue is detached from the dried filter paper by rubbing, by scratching taken on the watch glass. The watch glass is kept covered by the inverted funnel. The filter paper is folded and transferred into previously weighed porcelain or silica crucible. Then it is incinerated as described in this filter paper with the precipitate process, that is first process. Then the crucible is cooled. The filter ash is given in a suitable chemical treatment in order to convert any reduced or charged or changed material into the desired form. The main precipitate is then transferred from the watch glass to the crucible with the help of a camel hair brush, fine brush. Finally, the precipitate is brought to constant wet by heating to the necessary temperature. So this is done for the precipitate which can be reduced at incineration temperature. The next process is ignition of the precipitate. This process is to remove various types of water which are present into the precipitate. Those waters are like adherent water, adsorbed water, absorbed water, coordinated water, or occluded water, and essential water like water of hydration, water of crystallization. So removal of these different types of water required a different temperatures during the ignition. In addition to evolution of the water, the ignition of precipitate may result in decomposition of the reaction. One can study the progress of drying and ignition of the precipitate by heating and weighing the sample in different temperatures. This technique is very important in thermogravimetric analysis. So drying and ignition the precipitates are very important steps for getting the precipitate in dry form, constant weight and constant chemical formula. Thank you friends. Thank you for the watching.